Good evening and welcome to our March Town Council meeting. Before we move into our meeting agenda, tonight we have Cassandra Taylor from the Smyrna Public Library. She is our branch manager and is going to talk to us a little bit tonight. So if you'll come forward. Dave and I actually got to go out and walked through the library. And for Dave, it was the first time. For me, it's quite a few times. But we're glad to have you tonight.
To come introduce myself so y'all have a new face to associate with the library. We're very excited for this new beginning for Smyrna Public Library. We've had a launch of events. Right now we're in the middle of our winter reading program. So if you haven't participated and would like to win a prize, that goes until the 15th, so this Saturday. Also this Saturday we have a great children's program. The Nashville Opera will be coming, and it's Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So that will be our big ceremony for winter reading wrap up. I did this for you and for Dave. And since hopefully you got your library cards in the mail. So I went ahead and I kind of did the same thing for the rest of the council members. Mr. Sullivan didn't have to get you. You have your card and you are still active. So next year, remember to get your renewal if you want that card. But I was wondering if I could just approach real quick and hand them their card.
Sure.
My card from 1964 doesn't work anymore.
No.
At my age, we get a lot of cards.
Well, there's a thank you card.
I'm talking about our Medicare card.
And I wanted you to have a new card for me. Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome. But with Smyrna Public Library, we're really excited to highlight local artists. We have a great display space, so we're already working with Miss Peebles on that. But anything that you wish the library did or a program, we welcome that feedback. We're very excited for a new summer program we're going to start. It's called Growing Roots. It's to combine a community garden with local history, and we have a slew of local historians already very excited to participate in that. So it's a combo to help our newbies to the community learn more about our community and teach them to grow, native vegetables and other flowers and herbs that are often always in a garden here in Smyrna. So if you don't know how to garden, we hope to help them learn that. I did want to see if anyone had any questions about the library while I was here. And if not, I just wanted to come and say hello. I'm sorry for missing the last meeting. I got my wires crossed. And thank you all for this time. If there's no, yes?
Yes, what are the hours?
We're open 9 to 8, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, we're 9 to 5. We're closed on Sundays.
So if someone's watching or here in the audience and wants to get a library card, tell us what the requirements are to obtain a library card.
You have to have a valid Tennessee state ID with your residential address. For children under the age of 18, the parent does have to come in and sign them up, and we have a form that you fill out. It's pretty easy. And then we have tiered cards. So until they turn 13, they have it's called the juvenile card. Then they get their teen card at 13 to 17, and then once they turn 18, they can get their adult card. Cards are good for about 4 years now. They used to be annually. You had to renew them, so you all should be good for quite some time with your cards. You can also use your library card to access ebooks and audiobooks through Hoopla and Libby. And you can put everything on hold by visiting rclstn.org. You can also find out more about library cards and our upcoming events on our website. You can even get an e-card on the website if you need it just for digital stuff, and then you want to come in later to get that physical card.
And you do not have to be a resident of the town of Smyrna to get a library card from the town of Smyrna?
Well, because it's the Rutherford County.
Right.
So it's like, and a big reason we moved to allowing the Tennessee state ID was all of the different students that come, like even
Right.
Motlow, the TCAT, and MTSU. So that way students can get their cards too.
Right.
And as of right now, that is our limit. We don't go into Alabama and Kentucky like some
Right.
of the other bigger libraries do in
Yeah.
the state. Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you so
Awesome.
much for
Thank
coming.
you all for your time.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment. The town's public comment period shall be reserved for those citizens that have signed up to address the town council or a board or committee at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting pursuant to the town's public comment policy as outlined above. If speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and if they have additional comments, they may be submitted in writing. We do have one person under public comment tonight. It's Timothy Quick, and he would like to speak about backyard chicken coop requirements. And so if you'll come forward, and if you'll state your name and address, and if you live in the town limits.
I sure will. I am a lifetime resident of Smyrna, Tennessee. I was born on the base in 1963. I live at 900 Sam Davis Road. Lived there but for 20-something years I was in the military. And I'm here to talk about not backyard chickens, because the municipal ordinance 10-101 already permits people in Smyrna to have chickens. That's the misnomer that most people on Facebook and everywhere say, that Smyrna does not allow chickens. Smyrna does allow chickens. Where they hamstring us and stop us from having chickens in our backyard is the ordinance 10-102, where they put the restriction of 1,000 feet of a coop being from a house or a road. Back in 2017, the city did a poll where Mary Esther, the mayor, said that they're trying to do what's best for the people of Smyrna. And they did. They did a survey, which they put out, and they said they were trying to be a good fit for Smyrna. But what they did is they hamstrung us by the 1,000-foot ordinance. According to national surveys and also the national poll of the average spot of a chicken coop, they did a poll, and 93% of 150 most populated cities in this nation, their requirement is 15 to 30 feet from a road or a residence, not 1,000. To have 1,000 feet from a house or a road, a football field is 300 feet. So 1,000 foot's approximately 3 football fields, 3.5. There's no resident in Smyrna that had that. As a child, I can remember looking across the street and seeing Mr. Mingle's cows, looking from my backyard and seeing Mr. Travis's with his chickens, and the Reddings next door with chickens. And here we are in 2025, and the city of Smyrna has alleviated the possibility of a family taking care of itself. We used to have backyard gardens and chickens everywhere. What I'm asking for is a simple administrative amendment to the code, taking the 1,000-foot restriction out and placing 15 to 30 feet. Also, other municipalities around us have a requirement of privacy fence, so people from the road don't have to look at them. One of the comments I laughed at that you said, Mary Esther, was that you were afraid that the chickens would have people that have dogs around them bark all the time. Well, let me tell you something. I have a dog that's behind me that barks 24/7 with no chickens. People complain about the smell. A person who takes care of their chickens, they won't have a smell. But dogs and cats and stuff that are in yards have smells. You don't see codes go around telling people to pick up their dog poop. You don't hear the cops stopping people and telling them to tell their dogs to be quiet. All I'm asking for is a simple
3 minutes, Mayor.
requirement of replacing 1,000 feet.
Thank you. Okay. Amber, if you will call the roll, please.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Dempsey,
Present.
Councilwoman Peebles. Here. Councilman Cole,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Short,
Here.
Councilman Sullivan,
Here.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Here.
Mayor Reed.
Here. Tonight, our prayer is going to be done by Chaplain Bob Horn with the Smyrna Police Department, and Charles King, our town engineer, will do our pledge. If you'll all stand with us, please.
Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we're indeed grateful for the day that you've allowed us to enjoy. We're grateful for the time that we come together here to meet as citizens and as leaders of this community. We pray, dear Father, that all things be said and done in a spirit of peace and be done decently in order, that they may be able to be thought about and the way that you would help direct us, and that it would be for the best of this community and for the citizens that live in it. Pray that you be with each one that holds these roles, that they may be able to lead this community in these efforts. Pray that you be with us now. Forgive us when we fail thee. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please place the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Bob and Charles. Okay, we'll move on to item 4, which is approval or corrections of the minutes of the February 11th, 2025 regular meeting and the February 27th workshop meeting of the Town Council. Jeff, are these in order?
They're in order, ma'am.
Council, any additions or corrections?
There's a correction on the location for the 28th. It was at the event center, not on the sheet that was sent to us, it said here. Unless it's been changed.
For the workshop?
Not the workshop, the 28th, the one where we met at the town center,
The
the town.
mobility
event center.
meeting with TDOT and the,
Those would have been approved at the previous meeting.
Right.
But
This
I,
is
this
the
is a different
February 11th and February 27th meeting that we're approving now.
Oh, okay. I
Not
got
the-
it mixed
not
up with
the
the ones y'all
28th.
emailed
Yeah.
to us. Okay.
Okay.
My apologies.
No problem. Okay, so anything else, additions or corrections? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Dave or Amber, any correspondence, communication, awards, or recognitions?
none from me.
Dave?
I'll just say that we had Employee Appreciation Day just recently, so just once again to all the employees of the town of Smyrna, want to thank them for what they do every day.
Great. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda, and these are items that are determined by the town manager to be routine matters and not necessarily needing individual discussion. But if there's an item that the council would like to pull off and discuss individually or vote on separately, we can do that. I do always like to read the consent agenda so those that are here in the audience and at home know what we're voting on. The first item is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute contract supplement 1 with TDOT relative to the Washington Street at CSX approach upgrades construction cost. Item B is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the proposal with Hayworth Meyer Boland Professional Engineers LLC for design services for the Slab Bridge extension at Rock Springs Road over Harts Branch. Item C is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the scope and fee proposal with Energy Light and Infrastructure for the Rock Springs Road Improvements Project. Item D is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute the contract with Wiregrass Construction for the milling and resurfacing with sidewalk repairs on Enon Springs Road Improvement Project. Item E is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a project time extension with TDOT on Florence Road Sidewalk Project. Item F is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Essential Epoxy Coating to apply epoxy to the vehicle maintenance shop floors. Item G is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a rental agreement with the Science Center for the Treehouse exhibit at the Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center. Item H is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Civic Plus relative to the agenda management, open record management, and 311 CRM, which is the customer relationship management software for the town. And item I is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute a proposal with Imagine that performance related to the Phase 2 of the Vision Sync initiative. And the last item under the consent agenda is consideration and authorization of a list of items to be auctioned through online surplus sale with GovDeals. Council, is there any item that you have questions about or want to pull off and discuss individually?
Mayor, I have item F.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, then do I have a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda except for item F?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now go back to item F, which is approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Essential Epoxy Coating to apply epoxy to the vehicle maintenance shop floors. Jerome?
I just want to follow up on what we discussed at the work session. Do we have a comfort level with their cost, their history, their performance on this type work?
Yeah, we looked into it, and they've done this, they're based here in Smyrna, we've done this many times before. You had a question about the etching, and they are going to do an etching on it. They're going to come in on a Saturday. We will have all the stuff moved out of the way, all of our material, our vehicles moved out of the way. Everything's going to be cleaned on our side. He's going to come and do the etching on Saturday, and then Sundays can come back and do the epoxy work.
Yeah, and the reason I have concern about that, there was a big variation in the three. I think two of them was fairly close, and this one was well below what the other two had been. But, okay, thank
And
you.
he's been to the shop, he's looked at it, he's
Okay.
taken all his measurements.
Thank you.
Okay. Then, do we have a motion to approve, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Essential Epoxy Coating to apply epoxy to the vehicle maintenance shop floors? Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to old business. Tonight, we have one public hearing, and it is a consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of tax map 50, parcel 14.07, to go from C2 to I2. It's requested by Caravan Ventures. The property requested to be rezoned contains 3.57 acres and is located on Tridon Drive. Hey, Kevin.
Yes, Mayor and Council. This is a request on Tridon Drive. It's about 250 feet northwest from the intersection with Safari Drive, with the rear of the property bordering the I-24 right-of-way and Almoville Road exit ramp. The land use plan for this area is the 24 Gateway Character Area, which would support a mix of uses and services, both local and regional in scale, such as hospitality, retail, restaurant, and multifamily uses. Surrounding zoning does consist of C2. The Planning Commission did review this request, did recommend approval 7-4-0 against. Staff would also recommend approval.
We had quite a bit of discussion about this in regards to buffer and other items. Council, are there any other questions or comments for Kevin before we go to the public? Okay, seeing none, then we'll go to the public to see if there's anyone here to speak for or against this item. When you come forward, if you'll state your name, address, and if you live in the town limits.
Hi, yes, I'm Justin Bailey. I live at 2023 Benjamin Street in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the owner of Caravan Ventures, and the end user, which is Bailey Company out of Nashville. We're headquartered there. We've been there since 1949. We're a Cat Crown Mitsubishi dealer. Our plan is to make this a very sophisticated place. We're trying to level up, and so part of why we find this attractive is, one, a lot of our employees work here, live here in Smyrna, and so that's very attractive to us. We'd be putting more jobs here. And this parcel in particular, for us, advertising is really important. And so we'll have this great view from the interstate. We plan to make it look extremely attractive to showcase our brand. We have 350 employees. This would be our flagship location out of 10. So we're going to put a lot of money into it to make it look really nice place to work for our probably 30 employees who would be working here and primarily living in Smyrna. So I hope you will approve this. We're looking forward to really planting roots and making this a beautiful headquarters.
Great, thank you. Anyone else here to speak for or against this item? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and go to council for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
For a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're glad to have you guys. New business tonight under the Planning Commission report is consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of tax map 34G Group A parcel 1.00 to go from PRD with LSO to PID with LSO, requested by Robert Latimer. The property requested to be rezoned contains approximately 1.45 acres and is located at the intersection of South Lowry Street and Stewart Drive. Kevin?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a rezoning request. It's on South Lowry Street, has frontage on Stewart Drive, as well as there's a private road there called Southside Drive. It also has frontage there. Land use plan for this area is the mixed-use center character area, which is a kind of a part of our Lowry Street overlay plan, which would support a wide range of uses and building types. New developments should focus on a mix of uses and services such as retail, restaurant, and attached residential. Surrounding zoning is C2, C3, and PRD, which is the South Side Townhomes PRD, which is would be to the rear of this property. The existing approved PRD would allow for 21 townhomes and 3 buildings. This requested PID is for a 78,277 square feet climate-controlled self-storage building. Building would be 3 stories. There would be a partial basement on the South Lowry Street frontage, so we would have a 4-story look on the Lowry Street frontage. The building would be finished with a mix of brick and stone, as well as quite a bit of glass and glazing. There would be 2 separate parking lots, one accessed off of Stewart Drive, one would access off of South Side Drive, so no direct access to Lowry Street from the property. A modified Type D landscape buffer is shown along the property line, bordering the townhomes, including a 6-foot tall white vinyl privacy fence, which will be in that area, as well as along the other adjoining tract there, which has a house on it, but it has a C2 zoning on that property. The Planning Commission did recommend approval 4-4, 1 against, with a few conditions. One, per our zoning ordinance, the minimum parking would be 26, or they are proposing 22, and that is an exception to our ordinance that was recommended as a part of the PUD. 2, the minimum building setback along South Lowry Street is 40 feet per requirements of the Lowry Street overlay. They are showing a 25-foot front setback from Lowry Street. The Lowry Street overlay does require awnings or canopies to be at least 9 feet above finished grade and to extend at least 6 feet from the building face. The developer has requested an exception to have the awnings to be approved. They don't extend 6 feet off is the difference there. The landscaping requirements of the overlay will apply and will be reviewed in detail with the site plan if the rezoning is approved. There was a request to an exception to those requirements for the street trees, the type and size of the street trees along Lowry Street. There are some fairly large utilities in that area, underground utilities, water primarily. So there'll be some conflicts there with obviously with the tree planting, so they had to work through that. And to modify the required Type D buffer along that northeastern side of the site, which is primarily adding that fencing that was added there. And then to provide a sidewalk along South Lowry Street. So with those conditions, the Planning Commission did recommend approval with those conditions, and staff would also recommend approval with those same conditions.
Steve and Mark, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so this first time this came through planning, it was denied. I met with
Rob.
I couldn't remember his name, Rob Mulchin. I think Mark also talked to them. We went back and forth with the developer a few times to make some improvements to get this something that we could actually get behind. Some of the improvements that they made that I think make a huge difference in this project is they added actual glass windows to the entire building. They're tinted, so you don't see roll-up doors and storage units from the street, but it actually looks more like a doctor's office or some sort of C4 use rather than just a big block storage building. Obviously, this is in lieu of the condos or townhomes that could have been built there, so it reduces density and keeps kids out of the school. That building is all brick. The buffer in the back by the townhomes, the developer actually requested to add additional trees there. The required buffer that was there was only, I don't know, 4 to 6 foot evergreens, and he's adding more of like a tree canopy to basically completely hide the building from the townhomes from the backside. Sidewalk along the side, he doesn't show it in this drawing. We added that as a requirement. And I don't know if he didn't really agree or disagree, but it was a requirement that we added. I think that's about it. The setback in the front is a little shorter than what was the Lowry Street overlay normally allows. But this property down around south side versus Stewart Road, this property elevates as it goes down Lowry. So the top side where the parking lot is about maybe 6 feet higher than Lowry Street. So to give that same distance, you would essentially be cutting into that hill, or you'd have land on top of the hill you couldn't use because of the distance measurement. So that's part of the reason the way the land lays out. It doesn't really make sense to keep that same 40 feet because it's not a flat piece of property.
And it's a pretty challenging piece to work with already. The parking issue that we discussed had a lot to do with the usage. And for example, the one over by Champy's is indoor, and you don't see a lot of cars or traffic coming in and out of there. It's all indoor storage, so it wasn't as concerning as maybe our ordinance dictated. The architectural look of it's quite appealing. It looks a lot better than townhomes, in my opinion, would look over there. The awnings that we discussed, the reason for it, one was architectural elevations, but two, the longer, larger awnings sort of took away from the appeal of the building. And there is no restaurants or outdoor gathering that would take place under these awnings anyway. So that's why we kind of looked at architecturally and the usage of it to kind of leave it as proposed with the awning side of it.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a few comments and questions. So on the 25-foot setback, that's different than what the overlay requires. And by us approving this rezoning, we're approving that change in setback. Is that?
Only on this
Just on this
one,
one.
just
Yeah,
on
just on
this
this
one,
one.
not on
This one.
everything.
Yeah.
Just on this track, but yes,
Right.
that would be the case.
It's
Right.
a PRD.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-story storage unit with a basement as well.
Correct.
So
Yeah, it's got a partial
Like a
basement, about half
partial
of it.
basement on the Lowry Street side of the property.
Because of the slope of the lot,
Yeah.
there's only,
The slope kind of slopes down toward Lowry Street.
yeah.
You know, how, and I guess my question is, how intrusive is this going to be along Lowry Street? Is it like as you come into the town, is it going to be overwhelming with the rest of, the condos there and I guess the residential houses next to it? I
mean,
like this better than the PRD, but the PRD would be on a 4-lane road. I've been up here talking about high density, that I don't like it, but is this the best use for this property? It almost seems like the best use would be commercial, some type of commercial, rather than a planned industrial development.
And Jerome, that's a good point. We did discuss that in the meeting as to whether or not we need to look at our ordinances, because this doesn't look like an industrial product at all.
Right.
This looks like a commercial product.
Right.
Yeah, and that was also, I actually reached out to Kevin separately because it's storage, it falls under industrial. But generally, mini storage, you think of roll-up door, garage-type doors and a parking lot, and you see all those doors. And so
So-
I talked to Kevin about revisiting that, either doing not this one, but things like this as an exception to the C4 policy or some other process, because this type of product is not the same as a mini storage product. It's different aesthetically.
So, say this is approved, they go out of business, can someone else come in with an industrial use for this?
No.
No,
There is
it would be just specifically this
Okay.
type of use, and this
This is all it can be.
is all it could be. It's not wide open to any other industrial
Yeah.
use, right?
Again, it's a good-looking building, but we're here you know, I think a better use is commercial, but that's my opinion, and I know you guys have vetted it good in the planning commission.
Well, on the other side of that, just to kind of play the devil's advocate, commercial encompasses a lot of things, restaurants and
Right.
and so forth and so on. And so you could wind up with a ton of traffic under a normal commercial zoning coming in and out of that spot, if it's retail or restaurant or whatever that case may be. Then your parking is going to have to be,
How many units are in this?
I don't recall. Kevin, do you remember?
I don't know the actual number of units. It's a little over 78,000 square feet total in all levels together. But I don't know actually how many, obviously
What
there's
are
going to be
those?
multiple different sizes.
10 by 20 usually?
Yeah, I don't know if they're.
I think they
yeah.
vary.
They're probably going to be varied in size, I would assume, because typically
Yeah.
most of them do have varying
That-
sizes.
That's kind of my
Yeah.
position, rather than going to a planned industrial development. I'd have a better comfort level with some kind of commercial.
And I think the building is nice, but the type of use that they have for it right now, that actually gives me pause. And I know you all talked about it, and yes, the townhomes would definitely create a lot more density, and I realize that this is less dense. But coming into Smyrna, I don't know that having a storage unit, even though I know the building is nice, is what I would want to be at the front of the end of Lowry Street.
I understand that. The only other thing I'll mention is the city limits actually on Lowry Street is about 2 miles away, closer to Murfreesboro, and the first building on the right when you come in city limits is Store Place Mini Storage. And it's actually a multi-story enclosed facility. So the first building you see when you come into city limits is a mini storage. It's
True,
just
but
2 miles from this.
coming into the
I
heart of
understand, but I
Smyrna,
just,
you see what I'm saying.
on this same road, we have the exact same type of facility just up the street, right at city limits.
And probably part of the reason it was denied in the first go-round, because it didn't meet the aesthetics of what we were looking for the Lowry Street overlay. This certainly meets the aesthetics with all the windows and it looks like he said, like an office building. It looks like office or some kind of, not even retail. It looks like a professional office building, so.
I'd prefer a C4 there, nice office building, actually, so.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would have been nice.
And I hear, Raquel, you and Jerome, what you're saying, and actually that's kind of where I was headed with it as well. It's a good building, good looking building. My thought was coming in right past Nissan, and the first thing I'm going to see is this big building there that's a storage unit. Not that it's not good looking, it's just, I think that's going to me, might be kind of an area where somebody says, okay, where are you located? I'm a mile past that big storage building. I can see where the planning commission came from on this, and I listened to it that night, and you guys, y'all had a lot of good discussion on it. I think of that, the one right there, I guess it's called the Spivey Building, and it stands, that's kind of the first thing I see when I come up that road there, and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with this one. So that's my issue.
So Kevin, if this doesn't get voted on like this tonight, and the landowner decides to use the current zoning, it could go back to townhomes, correct?
Well, they wouldn't, yeah, they have approval for 21 townhomes, correct.
So,
With certain architectural requirements and all those things, but yeah, they do have, it is.
so that's
approved.
what it's currently approved for.
That's what it's currently approved for. We actually had they even got a site plan approved, and they went through the whole process. They just never built them.
And if they sold the property, another person could purchase the property and do that exact same thing in townhomes?
Do the exact same plan that's been approved.
Exact same plan?
yes.
Okay.
It could become rental.
Right.
It could just become rental. To all your points, we struggle with the same ideas because of the aesthetics and the appearance and what's already zoned and currently zoned there.
We're
For
not
me,
discounting y'all's work.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
We
that. but-
appreciate that.
Yeah, but for me, the way I supported it was because I want to be careful what we wish for there. If we go back to what it's zoned for, they can throw them up tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, when I met with Rob, the conversation was what you submitted is awful. It was a big block building, and it's not gonna make it, right? And so we worked with him to try to get something that we thought might work. So, I mean, I don't take any offense at all. I think we got the best product from the developer that we could, and we brought that to planning for you, I mean, to council, for you guys to vote on. I mean, your concerns are exactly the reason it was denied the first time. And the one person who voted against it in planning basically cited the exact same things you guys are saying. So I completely agree and completely understand where you're coming from. As planning member, my job is to try to get the best product to you guys, and that's what we tried to do.
My bigger concern at this point, and I hear what y'all are saying, is the fact that 23 townhomes could be right there. And
That's really the primary.
Do we want that as what the first thing that you see coming?
That was really the primary reason that I supported it, because I think Rob's Mulchin's team actually worked on the site plan for those as well. And although he didn't say they would or wouldn't go back, they have that ability to just go back, and they had already gotten past site plan. So that was my fear, that is, they're coming to us with something other than condos and we don't accept it, it's probably just gonna end up being condos. And that was the whole thought process.
Did you all talk about an office type
We did.
situation? and
We
what was
did.
wrong with that plan?
We don't have a presentation.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I can't tell you
and
that.
that property's been sitting there.
Maybe he didn't have a property management company that wanted to take the risk to lease out office building, right? That's the only thing I can think of. Brick and mortar office buildings, because of COVID, hadn't been doing well.
So-
People are going back to work, so maybe they're
So-
gonna start. But
So the elevation, Kevin, facing Lowry, we're seeing four stories, correct?
that's right.
Facing Lowry, that is correct, yes. And it's about, well, the total building height from ground level is about 42 feet, counting the parapet. But then that bottom floor is about roughly another 12 feet total. So 4 stories at 12 foot per story.
And the
And then you have a
parapet,
parapet
and
at
the
the
parapet
top.
wall.
Parapet at the
Yeah.
wall that's about 6 feet total, roughly.
10, 40,
It's about-
46 to 50 feet.
Yeah, I thought he said 42 from ground level. I thought that was what they said.
That wasn't the parapet.
That's from the ground level, counting the parapet. That's the ground level, kind of, but
right at
you have the 12-foot
48, 50.
basement on the front. That was the additional 12 feet I was talking about. From the front, you have the 12-foot basement plus the 42 feet.
Yeah, because of the ground, slope of the ground,
The
that
slope of
front,
the ground
that
toward
front
the
floor
front.
is below ground level.
On the side, on either side of it, basically the basement essentially disappears. When you get to the back, it's going to be the 42 feet total at the back.
I wonder if they can, for the audience, if they can pull the building side up in the video room back there.
Yeah, I don't think we had that in the presentation.
They may not have it.
So, that's in your packet, but I don't believe it's in the presentation, doesn't appear to be.
Can we make sure going forward that everything that we have in our packet, Dave, is on so that we can show the audience as well? Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the staff comments and the recommendations from planning.
The motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Amber, you good? Yes. Okay, motion passes 4-3. Item B is approval of the revised classification and compensation plan for town employees. Dave?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. At the workshop, we discussed this item, and a presentation was given to the public and to the council. Again, this is we did an internal pay and compensation study to look at how we stacked up against our local market rather than the entire market of Tennessee. And the results of that compensation study were provided during that report. I'm happy to go into any level of detail that any of the council members may require, but we did go into a pretty extensive presentation the first time that we presented this to you.
Council, questions for Dave on this?
No questions, just a statement that based on the presentation and assuming approval, this will take effect retroactively 3/1, correct?
I think the actual pay period begins 3/3 or 3/4, whatever it may be. Yeah, yep, but yes.
Okay. So essentially, effective immediately, retroactive to include this pay period.
Correct.
Other questions or comments? And Dave, if this passes, do you want to talk a little bit about tomorrow?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So if this passes tomorrow, I will be hosting a all-hands hybrid meeting for all employees. I'm going to do it right here. If we fill this room, we'll do some overflow in another conference room that we have. But as I said, it'll be hybrid, so I'll also be available to our employees virtually. And that way, they can hear basically the same thing that I have discussed with you all about why we did this, how we did this, and just some particulars about that. Also, tomorrow, each employee will be sent a letter from HR with the exact impact that it has for each employee individually.
Okay. We had quite a bit of discussion about this at the workshop, and Dave and Jeff had worked on a presentation, so do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion, do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to item C, which is consideration of an ordinance to approve mid-year budget amendments for the fiscal year 2025. Hey, Rex.
Mayor, council, these are the proposed mid-year budget amendments for fiscal year 2025. The amendments are primarily due to the implementation of the pay plan and under-budgeted items such as a major thoroughfare plan, items budgeted in fiscal year 2024 that arrived in fiscal year 2025, such as the fire department truck and portable radios and the stormwater dump truck. There are replacement of wrecked vehicles for the parks and police department along with various other projects. We're recommending that you approve these amendments.
Questions for Rex? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move we approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D is also Rex's. Consideration of a resolution to request refunds on unclaimed property held by the state of Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am. Passing this resolution allows the town to ask the state of Tennessee for a refund. The property is made up of outstanding checks or credit balances on closed utility accounts and vendor accounts. They were held first by the town and secondly by the state of Tennessee. This is something we do on an annual basis, Mayor, and we've got back over $121,000 from these refunds.
Great. Council, questions on that? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So we are now moving on to boards and committees, and I want everyone in the audience and those at home to know we've had quite a few applicants put in. We try to approve as many people as possible. Every committee can serve 2 terms, and once they've served their term, if there are qualified applicants, then we try to put new people on the boards. But if we don't have anyone sign up or not a qualified applicant, someone who has served their 2 terms can then reapply. So if you will bear with us, this may take a little while, but we'll get it all taken care of. So our first one is consideration of an appointment of 3 members to the Sister City Committee to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. And you all have a packet that Amber put together in front of you. And these appointments are made by mayor's nomination and majority confirmation of council. We had 5 applicants, Marianne Rogers, and Marianne has already served her 2 terms. Natalie Shute applied. Amy Wise has only finished her 1st term. Gregory Creasy applied, and Jonathan Wright also applied, but he has served his 2 terms. So Jerry had a conversation with Marianne and Jonathan and let them know that we did have 3 qualified applicants, and So at this time, I'd like to appoint Natalie Shute, Amy Wise, and Gregory Creasy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations to those three. We'll now move on to the Housing Authority. The consideration of an appointment of one member to the Smyrna Housing Authority to serve a 5-year term ending in 2030. And this is a mayor appointment. Natalie Shute applied, but we just appointed her to Sister City, and Timothy Cornwell. So I will appoint Timothy Cornwell to the Housing Authority. Okay, next is consideration of an appointment of 3 members to the Planning Commission to serve a 2-year term ending in 2027. This is a mayor appointment, and Don Hyde applied, Tim Morrell, Natalie Shute, Charles Whitfield, Charles Skur, Amy Wise, Timothy Cornwell, Nathan Hudson, Ken Hill, and Chandler LeMay. And I'm going to appoint Tim Morrell, Charles Skur, and Ken Hill to the Planning Commission. Okay, item 4 is consideration of an appointment of one member to the Historic Zoning Commission to serve a 5-year term ending in 2030. These are nominated by the mayor and confirmed by majority vote of the council. Raul Morrow is served 1 term, but is wanting to serve a 2nd, and the only other applicant we had was Natalie Shute, and we have already appointed her to Sister City. So I will nominate Raul Morrow. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Raul. Okay, that was historic. Okay. Next is consideration of appointment of 4 citizen members and 1 non-voting county representative to the Parks Advisory Board to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. These are mayor's nomination and majority council confirmation. Megan Deach is only served 1 of her terms and has reapplied, and has reapplied. Nicole Green has served 1 term and has reapplied. Mark Hardy has served 1 term and reapplied. Dalton Hidalgo is seeking application. Adam Miller, he also applied to Stormwater. Natalie Shute, we appointed her to Sister City. Timothy Cornwell, we appointed him to Housing. DeSherry Braden and Chandler LeMay. Those are our representatives that are within the town limits. And then we also have a non-voting county representative, and those are Tom Sage, Kristen Trainer, and Lori Miller have applied for that. So, HG, were you able to look over those?
Yeah. Kind of lean toward Dalton Hidalgo as the final town appointment, and then Tom Sage for the county rep.
Okay. Then I will appoint Megan Deach, Nicole Green, Mark Hardy, Dalton Hidalgo as our town representatives, and Tom Sage as our county representative. Oh, and all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Our next item is consideration of appointment of 1 representative to the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority to serve a 5-year term ending in 2030. So Jeff, I had a question about this, and I may be putting you on the spot, and sorry if I am. I should have asked you before the meeting. I forgot. It says the Board of Commissioners of the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority will make recommendation for appointments or reappointments of certain members, and if no recommendation by the commissioners made, then the appointment will be by mayor's nomination. Is that right, or is it the mayor nomination? I couldn't remember.
I don't recall seeing that language before.
Okay.
But it would not be under our ordinance anyway.
Okay.
And so that I'm aware
I mean,
of.
and they did
they haven't
recommend
made-
Mike,
Right.
so, which is fine, but I'd just like for you to look at that, just for in the future.
Okay.
But
I've never seen that before.
I had not either, so I wasn't sure about that. But the board has recommended Mike Woods, and Mike does a great job for us, so I will nominate Mike Woods, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Mike. Okay. Council now is the boards that are council nominated. First is consideration of appointment of 2 members to the BZA to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. And members of the BZA are selected by council nomination and majority vote. There are 4 applicants. Ken Hill, we put on planning, and Natalie Shute, we put on Sister City, so that leaves 2, Don Hyde and Jay Michelson. And Jay, I think, is just his first term, so that'll be his second. Okay?
Yeah, he's current chairman, I believe.
Okay. So,
About time we got a good chairman for that board.
It is true. It's absolutely true. You should have stepped up a long time ago.
so at this point,
You
I'll
wouldn't have
open.
had a good one.
So at this
Thanks,
point,
girl.
I will open the floor for nominations, and we need 2 members.
I'll nominate Jay Michelson and Don Hyde.
Okay? Anyone else? Then I'll close nominations, and since there are only 2 applicants that were nominated and we need 2 members, all in favor of Don Hyde and Jay Michelson, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations to Don and Jay. Okay, next is consideration of appointment of 2 members to the Beer Board to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. These are selected by council and nomination and majority vote. Brandon Good has applied. Jacqueline Redmond has applied. Don Hyde was just appointed to BZA. Amy Harrison has reapplied because she is just on her first term, and she's the current chair. And Timothy Cornwell, we had appointed to housing. So, Amber, this is kind of your board in regards to you being there. Can you tell us a little bit about Brandon and Jacqueline?
Sure. So I've kind of looked over their applications, and I think either one of them would be a good fit for the beer board. Ms. Redmond she's the treasurer of Food Bar Supporters Group for the past 3 years. It's a 501c3 veterans and active military group that helps veterans in the Middle Tennessee area. She has lived in Smyrna for 4 years and wants to get some involvement in the community. And then my computer's going crazy. Brandon Good has lived in Smyrna for 2 years. He is a veteran of the United States Coast Guard, and he stated that he's just looking to be active in the community. Amy Harrison has done a wonderful job as the chair of my beer board. And as we just discussed, it's great to find a good chair. So if she is able to sit for another term, I would love to have her as well. So I'll leave that in your hands.
Okay. So we have 3 of the 5 that have not been appointed to another board. So at this point, I'll open the floor for nominations, and we need 2 people to serve a 3-year term on the beer board.
I'll nominate Jacqueline Redmond and Amy Harrison.
Good nominations.
Any-
I was looking at Brandon and Jacqueline, and I didn't know anything about either person. They were relatively new to the community, but the only reason I say that is, Brandon, I would encourage you to become a registered voter. That was the only thing that stood out between the 2, is he's not registered to vote. So get your registration. That's not specifically why, but I think you need to be registered in the town you're living in.
And not required.
Not a requirement.
Any other nominations? Then I will close the floor to nominations, and Amy Harrison and Jacqueline Redmond were nominated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Jacqueline and Amy. Okay. Next is project assistants and consideration of an appointment for 2 members to the Project Assistance Board to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. We had 2 people that have not served their 2 terms, Natalie Wilson and Joy Gallion, and we need to appoint 2. So all in favor of Natalie Wilson and Joy Gallion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Natalie and Joy.
2 good ones right there.
Great. Okay, next is consideration of the appointment of 1 member to the Package Liquor Board to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. And this is nominated by council and confirmed by majority vote. And, okay, so we had David, Amber, pronounce that last name for me. There you go. Okay, so you're going to be our new name pronouncer. Lisa Reasanover and Timothy Cornwell, and remember, we put Timothy on for housing. Yep, and so Amber, can you tell us a little bit about David and Lisa?
Yes, ma'am. So, say the last name for me. Yes, Mr. Butkowitz. He is currently a police officer for Berry Hill, yes, the city of Berry Hill. He is also a member of the Fraternal Order of Police. He said he currently has a bachelor's degree in public safety management and currently working on a master's in public safety administration. He has 20 years of law enforcement experience. He's worked as an investigator and patrol supervisor. Prior to his law enforcement career, he worked as a supermarket store director and was involved in all aspects of store business as well as warehousing merchandise. He believes that his experience and education will be beneficial in decision-making and helping the town of Smyrna with continuing to move forward in a positive manner when considering the enforcement of liquor rules and compliance. Ms. Reasanover is a long-time citizen of the town of Smyrna. She's resided in Smyrna for 40 years. Her involvement is currently with the American Heart Association, American Cancer Society, American Red Cross, Metro Nashville Public School, Nashville Rescue Mission, Wounded Warriors, Nashville Chamber of Commerce. She's got some acronyms there that I don't really know what they stand for. SHRM, and she is DISC certified. And that she notes that she would like to be active in the community and does not see any potential conflicts.
Great. Okay, so we need to appoint 1 member to the Package Liquor Board, so I will open up the floor for nominations.
I nominate Lisa Reasanover.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, then I will close the floor to nominations, and we had 1 person nominated. And all in favor of Lisa Reasanover, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Lisa. Okay. Next is consideration of appointment of 4 members to the Stormwater Advisory Committee to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. Council nomination and majority confirmation. Bradley Howwagon? Oh, look at you, just look at you. Doug Brown. Natasha Floyd is on Charity Assistance, Raquel, with you. So, and then Charles Whitfield and Adam Miller, and she has reapplied for Charity Assistance. So we had 4 people apply for 4 spots because Natasha has asked to stay on Charity Assistance, which is our next one. So since we only have 4 people apply that aren't going to be on boards, all in favor of Bradley, Doug, Charles, and Adam, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to those 4. Next is consideration of appointment of 2 citizen members to the Smyrna Charity Assistance to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028, and 1 council representative to serve a 1-year term ending in 2026. I'd like to do the council representative first, and I'll open the floor for a nomination for a council member. This is Raquel's board.
I will nominate Raquel Peoples.
Any other nominations? Okay, then we'll close the floor to nominations or council nomination. And all in favor of Raquel, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Raquel. Okay, so now we need to appoint 2 citizens, and Natasha served her first term, but not her second. Stacy Dunaway and Marquise Martin. Raquel, you've looked over these, do you
Yes.
have 2 that you would
So
recommend?
So Natasha Floyd.
Okay.
For the second term, and Marquise Martin.
Okay, so I'll open the floor then for nominations.
I will nominate the 2 names she just read off.
Okay, Natasha Floyd and Marquise Martin.
yeah.
Anybody else? Then we'll close the floor to nominations. All in favor of Natasha and Marquise, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. Raquel, we appreciate you doing that. That's a tough board.
Thank you.
Picking people to give money to. Okay. Our next, item 13, is consideration of an appointment of 2 members to the Municipal Industrial Development Board to serve a 6-year term ending in 2031, and 1 member to serve an unexpired term ending in 2030. These are council nominations and majority vote. We have only had 1 person apply, that's Rick Wise. And all in favor of reappointing Rick Wise for the 6-year term ending in 2031, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Rick is going back on, but we have 2 other openings to remain open until filled. I will tell you, this board only meets once a year, and they have barbecue, and because statutorily they have to meet. So if you want a board where you can get some food and only have to show up 1 time a year, then this is your board.
It's a good board.
Yeah. But if you are interested in serving, we do have 2 more openings, and they'll remain open until they're filled. Okay, item 14 is consideration of an appointment of 1 member to the Captain Jeff Kush USMC Memorial Funding Subcommittee to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. And we did have, it is council nomination and majority vote. We did have 2 people apply. Kelly Goosetree is served 1 term but is asking to be reappointed, and Chris Ruff currently serves on the Smyrna Charity Assistance. So I'll open the floor for nominations.
Nominate Kelly Goosetree.
Any others? Okay, I'll close nominations, and all in favor of Kelly, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Kelly served with Jerome and I from the very beginning, and they even wrote, she and her school wrote lesson plans for kids that want, when they're doing field trips, to come to the memorial prior to, so they can study about all sorts of things. And Kelly's retired now, but is still staying involved and is chairing our scholarship committee. So Kelly does a good job. Okay, last is consideration of appointment of 2 members to the Board of Adjustments and Appeals to serve a 3-year term ending in 2028. These are recommendation by the town manager, building official, and town planner. Upon recommendation, members are confirmed by majority council vote. And they do not have to live inside the town limits of Smyrna, but they do have to have a background in building. So, Dave? Jim Thompson.
Yep, that's the only one we have, but if I can find some additional folks down the line, I'll certainly bring those back to the council for consideration.
And Jeff, when is the last time this board ever had to meet? Do you remember?
That I know of, they haven't met the 16 years I've been up here.
I was.
2016?
I didn't go to that one, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently, I didn't go to that one.
Jeff slipped through that.
Okay, so Dave has asked for Jim Thompson to be reappointed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Jim Thompson.
Good board member.
I just want to say, 1, thank you to those that continue to serve and serve more than 1 term. These boards and committees are so important in getting jobs done here in the town. If you did not get on a board this time, please consider reapplying. We really like to get people involved in the town. Okay, other road project update?
So as Charles comes up here, I wanted to just get an update in front of the council. and to the public regarding our active roadway projects. We are working on an interactive map where where you'll be able to go on, similar to our development tracker website, or excuse me, development tracker GIS map. You'll be able to get onto that GIS map and check out all the roadway, utility, and parks projects going on throughout the town. But in the interim, look, we're getting pretty close to our budget retreat, and so I thought it would be good that we can try to just talk about and update you on the existing projects, and that way when we get around to April 7th, when we do our budget retreat, we're just talking about proposed projects at that point, hopefully. So, Charles, thank you for putting this presentation together. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir. Mayor and council, just have the projects here. See if we get to the first one here when Chris brings that first slide up. Okay, thank you. These are the projects we'll be going over. I won't go over them since I'll have one for each individual. Let's see. Okay. And start off here with Jenny Lane Extension. Like I said, this project was an extension of Jenny Lane from Wolverine Drive to Potomac Place. It's currently under substantial completion. The road and utility construction was completed in November of '24. The street lights will be completed this month. The only thing we're lacking on that is for Middle Tennessee Electric to energize them. So that will totally complete the project. And there you see the cost for the roadway and the utilities and the overall project. If there's any questions as we go through these, please just go ahead and ask as we get to them. Our next one is the Spring Hill Drive Extension. This connects Spring Hill Drive to the Rocky Fork Schools. It's under substantial completion. The road and utility construction was completed in September of '24. Final paving on this project will be scheduled for June of '26. We held off on the final paving due to the home builder moving in on the site, and we thought, well, that will destroy the top surface, so we will resurface after the home builder, and they should be completed in 18 months, and they're already underway with 5 homes currently in progress, and a total of 25 along that development.
And just so, in case anybody else, I've gotten a couple of complaints in regards to parking and all that, but Dave and Charles and Tom and I have had discussion, and you've sent somebody out there.
Yes.
So just know, if you all hear anything, Charles, they're parking along the sides of the roads on each side, and so it's hard for them to get through. So, but Charles jumped right on that and had somebody out there today, so.
Yeah. They had been doing really well. I don't know if we had a different set of contractors come in for different trades, and we had the lot finished, so that was one reason they were bringing in topsoil to grade the lots, and just bad timing to do it at the school rush hour time. But like I said, our inspector, he has spoken with them, and we'll work on getting that cleared up. But appreciate people letting us know that's going on.
Charles, Neal, what's adjacent to on either side of that road?
It will be homes on each side, just like up Spring Hill Drive. There will be homes on each side. It's be 25 in total between the end of Termini Spring Hill down to where it intersects the school.
Thank you, sir.
And we do have the street lights and everything on that did go in under Middle Tennessee Electric's extension through there. This is the Rock Springs Bridge sidewalk addition. We did that in part with Tom's sidewalks from Front Street out to Mason Tucker. We took the curb off one side and put new rail on it, and then added the sidewalk and pedestrian rail on this side, and also did some other major improvements to the structure that had been in TDOT's review project. So, but this project has been completed and is ready for the sidewalk connections to it.
And just since I can see it in the background there, Kevin, just a reminder that
reminded me, don't forget that one. Thank you.
Okay, our next one here is Washington Street at CSX Crossing. After many years of working with the railroad, I appreciate Mr. Peach's time working with them on getting the easements for this project. We are underway. The contractor has started working on the roundabout. We've gotten the curb poured, the sidewalks that go across CSX. Once we get CSX flagman and construction crew to go in at the same time as our construction crew will be in, we will close the track crossing for approximately 20 days in order to save us a month of closure if we tried to phase it. But the front street will be open through there during that time. It'll just be the track crossing that will be closed.
Charles, what's the rationale for moving the curbing out in that?
What was there was stamped concrete, and vehicles would cut through there and not really go around. So this is to define the roundabout more. If there's a larger curve.
They weren't supposed to drive on the cut part, the stamp part?
They were not supposed to, but there was not any real obstacle to not kind of shortcut through there. So this way, this will be a traffic calming feature, but the curve that's there is enough for cars to evade. But if there are any large trucks coming through, they can roll up over it. And inside the roundabout there, that will be brick pavers that will go in instead of just a solid concrete surface. So we have those rock pavers coming in from the rock place just down the street. Will be furnished in that material.
Yeah, Charles, I
Yes.
think I spoke with you about this. Only concern I have about that is, the trailers and the box trucks
Yes.
rolling up on it, but pilling those pavers up as they go around in a tight radius.
These are vehicle-rated pavers.
Okay.
So they will be in, and then they will be.
Mortared in.
More than that, just the sand that will be into them to keep them in there. And it has a rock base plus a cement base like that we went over before.
Sure.
And then plus the pavers, and then they will be sand tamped in.
And you feel good about school buses being able to make it too?
Yes, we pulled a curb in, but they will be able to make it through there.
Okay.
Charles?
Yes.
I'm sorry, if you go back one slide. And it might be Tom and Mike that need to comment on this, but we're looking to take advantage of the closure of this project to do some other work that we've bid a bunch of times and haven't been successful. And so maybe now would be a good time to just update on that project and how we plan to move that forward, if you wouldn't mind. Sorry to catch you guys off guard like that, but it just seems like you got the map up, so I figured probably a good time to do it. Thank you.
So we were looking at a traffic calming project in downtown between Division Street and College. And so that would require some roadway improvements, adding some speed humps. Talked to Mike and Mark when we were looking at designing this out, and they had a project where they needed to upgrade a water main through there. And so what we'd like to do is see if we can take advantage of the timing with Charles shutting down, CSX shutting down Washington Street and Front Street for about 3 to 4 week period of time, and get in there with Mike's team to be able to put in a water main there. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
So what we'd like to do, Hawkins and Price did Phase 2A of North Lowry. We've talked to them. They would have to add a few things, such as gravel backfill, which they didn't really have in the Lowry job, but either do it through change order or extend their contract, because the bids that we're getting, Tom got when we did this project, were just astronomically high. And they've agreed to hold the same prices with those couple of adders that we are not in the existing contract with North Lowry 2B. So we'll be bringing that to the workshop for approval, and then hopefully can move forward and get out of the way and get this thing going.
What route down the street will it take?
It's going down, it's in the street now. So it's still going to go between College and Division. We're replacing smaller lines. This is part of a bigger picture because the Highland Avenue Fire Flow project Phase 1 is coming next year from where we crossed under the railroad tracks up to Rock Springs. This is a portion of Phase 2. Since Tom's doing repaving here, we didn't want to come back in after Phase 2 was paved and tear it all up again. So we're trying to get this little portion out of the way.
Had somebody asking me about the dips in the road and such as that down there. Of course, we've dealt with that for many, many years, and I guess it's still got to stay that way again, doesn't it?
You're talking about the stormwater inlets through there?
Yes.
That is a part of the traffic calming project, is to remove some of those inlet structures and replace them with others and get some of those dips out of the road.
So, and Dave, this was before you were here, we had talked about cleaning up some of that down there and redoing some of that, so all of that is still,
Yes, and part of the problem with bidding it out that we're facing is that there's no main contractor on it, because a third of it's utilities, a third of it is paving, and a third of it's concrete. So no one contractor really wanted to be the prime when there's really three major components to it. So we're going to work within our annual contracts. He's going to be working within his contract to be able to do his water line work, and then our asphalt work, and then concrete work.
what about the sidewalks and stuff down there? Because some of them were in, I know, in front of the 101 building and all that.
Most of the sidewalks are going to remain. There's some that are going to be removed. There are some ramps that went to nowhere, and so we're going to be removing those and
Will you
squaring
be
it up.
fixing some of the ones, some of the areas that there's kind of some issue?
Yeah, I'll look into that and see,
Okay.
and maybe see what
Okay.
areas you're talking about, and
Okay.
maybe replace that as well.
We just, and we've not had this conversation, but we just do so many fairs and festivals and all that downtown, and it's where people are out walking, you know, and I think more so than anywhere else, other than the specific parks, and it looks like it needs a little bit of a facelift in some parts.
Hopefully that'll add a little bit more energy down there, you
Right.
know, with the merchants and everything. I know, been meeting with the local merchants down there, and I think this crosswalk to the other side of Lowry to Front Street's gonna make a world of difference. And Mike, I like your idea of, you know, shifting that water line to an existing contract with set cost already that hasn't experienced inflation. That's gonna be a win.
Okay, other questions or comments? Thanks, you guys. Charles, you're back up.
Okay. Thank you for the pause there. But like I said, we're looking at July of this year to complete this project. If there's things, you know, at Mike Mossman Parks and the different things that go on during the weekend, we will look at being able to open up the streets back up. It's just during construction time, trying to work on both sides of Washington there and with the railroad, and we want to try to make the most of our time there. But this is a 90-10 project through TDOT Freight, so we were glad to get that grant and be able to use that. Next, Inland Springs Road improvements that you approved the contract tonight. This will go and bring the existing sidewalks up to ADA standards, and it will be paving and pavement markings from Florence Road all the way up to Ridley Street. Like I said, we have the construction contract now, have a pre-construction meeting on Monday, and we'll get the contractor started on that. And we're scheduled to be done by June 30th of this year.
Hey, I had one question on that, Charles. That area right there, Hazelwood and Enon Springs.
Yes.
Where we had a lot of work with the stormwater or the underground.
Right.
Sinkhole.
Right.
Is that all stabilized?
Yes, I think all that's been done and patched, and we will get, when we get down to Hazelwood, we will go out to the joints there a little bit further down on the east side of Hazelwood to try and
Cover that.
resurface that
Right.
entire area that was disturbed during that project. And that's why we're going on up past Ridley Street
Right.
to make sure we do encompass all
Get
that
past
was
that.
redone.
Yeah, thank you.
And like I said, we do have the signal loops and all that can be put back in. That is also in this contract to replace any of that or utility caps in the roadway. Next, Jefferson Pike at Nissan, Sam Ridley intersection improvements, the right turn lane. It's, that has been bid out, it's under construction. They have one strain pole that will need to be replaced there on that one radius that, it came in under the TDOT project. That's in order now. They should be under construction about April or so and should be finished by June of this year. And that should be about the approximate same time as substantial completion on Jefferson Pike will be paving there also.
Is the plan still to move the entrance of Gills or just close that one?
It will be open. The one onto Nissan, it will be open. We will do away with the left turn lane coming out of the Ace Hardware because you would be going across a turn lane, 2 through lanes to, and then a center turn.
Right in, right out on.
Right, so it's just gonna be a right in, right out, so we're gonna enlarge those entrances, so that'll give a lot more room for their trucks coming off Nissan to make a left into there, but we are only gonna do away with the one left turn movement. And that way they can go back to Jefferson where they can hit the traffic signal to make a left back onto Nissan, which be much safer, because even at current condition, it's unsafe there to make that left out.
Make a left into,
Yes, you'll still be able to make the left from Nissan into, that will remain. It's just, and we will enlarge the entrance, instead of having an in and a left and right out, we'll be able to split that difference, and we will resurface all the way back to the right-of-way line, which is at the beginning of the parking lot. So we will rebuild that entrance and curb it.
Charles, there's a gravel road off of Jefferson in there, right?
Yeah, the entrance, right now it's currently closed. That will be coming back.
I don't think it's closed, is it?
The one entrance on, that one, that was construction. Yeah, that's gone. All that has been removed and re-sodded and covered. There is the 2 entrances onto Jefferson Pike, and both of those will be open once the Jefferson Pike project is completed.
But the one I'm referring to is the one on the furthest to the right.
Comes in the back parking.
Yeah, the
Comes in
back
the
parking lot,
You
yes.
saying that's closed?
No, that one's open. That's the
Okay.
one currently open. The
Okay.
other one, the front one, is currently closed. They have it in just base stone, but they will be getting ready to get binder. The paving contractor is on site now doing binder work, so they will be getting that binder in and try to get that back open. And the back one will be resurfaced.
Okay.
Because that's their back entrance, more their tractor-trailer delivery comes in that way. But both those entrances will be reopened once TDOT finishes their
I was gonna
project
say, it
up.
gets used, so people don't have to go away on Nissan and come back
Yeah.
around.
Well, we're hoping this right turn lane will keep the cut-through traffic going through the parking lot there, because you get such a right turn backup that they do have issues. That's one reason that they were in favor of us putting this right turn lane, is to try to alleviate that through traffic, cut-through traffic, that you get backed up there. So hopefully this will help keep that right turn traffic moving through there and reduce the backup.
Charles, I know it's a ways off, but would you touch on the double lefts coming from the bowling alley?
It's coming up.
So you'll have a double left turn onto Jefferson
Yes, sir.
Pike in front of Stones River Church there.
Yeah, I have a slide on that one, and some good,
Okay.
and
I
good
got ahead
news
of
on-
you, didn't I?
And some good news on that one also.
I'm anxious.
All right, Sam Ridley at Old Nashville Highway. This one's been in the development stage for several years, but there's going to be addition of left turn lanes. There'll be double lefts on Sam Ridley, double lefts on both sides of Old Nashville Highway. Like I said, we're in pre-construction. TDOT last week issued the notice to proceed. So currently, I'm working with them to get our construction engineering firm on board. I'm going to be able to use their own call, which is HMB Weiser out of Murfreesboro. So we will be able to get that. So hopefully, in the next couple of months, we'll be able to get this project out to bid. It will be locally bid and locally managed through the town. And this, we do have an 80-20 grant from TDOT on this project.
take care of the drainage issue?
Yes, there's a 24-inch drainage pipe that goes under Old National Highway from the Stone Trace corner there that will take care of that drainage. So that, we've been waiting for this a long time to create that. We will do away with the sweeps there and bring that into a box intersection. That'll make the traffic signal function better, also taking those sweeps out. But we will have the, like I said, the double left turn lanes on each leg of it now, and the double through all the way on Sam Ridley and Old Nashville Highway.
Excellent.
And like I said, this is looking to be 18 months of construction time. So that's why we're looking at,
Especially when he starts talking about the Rock
We need
Springs
to get
Road.
Charles on speed dial.
yes, I will be making, or probably renewing my friendships with a lot of people from the Sam Ridley widening, so I'm sure they still have my number, so
Probably.
we'll get through it.
That's right.
Lowry Street Phase 2, this is an addition of sidewalks and streetlights along Lowry Street from Jackson Street to Hartsprant Bridge. This is just a continuation of what we've already did in Phase 1. This one will not have the planters in it as the Phase 1, but we will have sidewalk, curbing, and decorative streetlights. Right now, we're working on right-of-way plans and looking at April 28th, time we get the right-of-way plans and design go out for construction. And this is a 80/20 with TDOT.
At some point, can you, are you going to meet with the merchants there and kind of, once you get it designed and everything, kind of let them know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, once we get it, right now, during the utilities put in the new water line project, they rebuilt the sidewalk, so hopefully it'll be minimal on that east side to those merchants there that we don't have to go back in. So I was able to go ahead and put the sidewalk in. There's a conduit under the sidewalk that the street lights that go in, so all we'll have to do is just drill down for the foundations for the street lights, tap that conduit with a 2-inch electrical. So on that side, that will be minimal. All we'll have to do is just put the driveways in and the curbing and rebuild that. So we shouldn't be back up in their parking lot again. So that worked out well, coordinating with the utilities on their water line replacement.
I think they have meetings every 2 weeks now. And
Okay.
maybe once you get, closer to it.
Right, once we get through, because the biggest thing is going to be TDOT's access policy, getting the drives in there, especially on the other side where we have more of the garage door openings, trying to get to 30-foot, wide
Right.
entrances in there. We're going to have to work on that with TDOT to see
Sure.
what they will allow, because for them to be able to still use that. So that's going to be the hard part, getting through that right-of-way plans and what TDOT's access management will let us do on the curbing.
And that's out of our hands. That's a
Yes,
TDOT
that's going to be a
decision.
TDOT requirement, just like on the first
Right.
phase where we took out the one building and the Shell station there, we took out their streets, entrances off Lowry. That was a TDOT requirement for that. So we will work with TDOT best we can on the entrances into the businesses. Next, weekly lane improvements. This is addition of shoulders and turn lanes from Swan Drive to the town limits. We've completed our functional design concepts on it. The next step is design for Phase 1 from Swan to 8th Avenue. That will be pretty much a 3-lane section because of all the turn lanes into the major roadways. Like I said, we're looking at now that we have the addition of the County Forensic Center. We've taken that into account, and also an EMS station that will come out on Weekly Lane. So we have taken that into account. Had a meeting with the designer today, and we don't see an issue being able to keep that within the right-of-way. We will be working on utility conflicts through there, but we'll try to get this first part done. Also, adding sidewalks from 8th for Wary Housing down on that side of the roadway down to Swan, and we'll also have a crossing at Ninth that will attach to the Greenway. That way, people from the rehab center can come up the Greenway to Weekly, cross, and then we'll eventually get sidewalks all the way down to Sam Ridley, where Tom has put in the pedestrian crossings.
Before you move on from this one, I was going to give this update anyway, but I want to just give the council an update of where the Air National Guard is with their project and plans and aspirations to move from BNA to the Smyrna Airport. They've been approved for Phase 1, which I really couldn't tell you exactly what Phase 1 of their plans are, but they've got some sort of approvals from whomever it is they need to get them from, which is a positive sign for us. And Charles has been real good, too, about working with them on trying to connect them for traffic study information, which, you know, we're going to need, and is going to be the first step to be working with both Rutherford County and hopefully TDOT on some partnerships on how we can bring that into our community. So positive news there. They're moving forward. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, we've agreed on a engineering firm to do the traffic study, and they've worked up a proposal. So they're the same ones that did the Stewart's Landing at Sam Ridley, so it'd be they've already got a lot of the base information already down. So the Air Guard, hey, we're good with using that firm, so we'll be looking at that as far as getting that started. And like I said, Army Guard's 2 to 5 years out moving in, and the Air Guard there in the 7 to 10 move out totally from Nashville into Smyrna here.
Jeff and I went down with people from the Airport Authority and the county and heard a presentation. And then when we had our meeting back here, one of the things they offered was to bring council down and for the presentation to be done for council too. Can we follow up with them? I think that'd be something really good for council to be able to see, is kind of what they're wanting to do.
Sure.
And what their timeline looks like. And I think you're going to be pretty surprised at some of the things that are taking place right now at Berry Field in our own backyard, but technically it won't be long. It'll be really in our own backyard.
Yeah, and I feel comfortable doing that now because they've actually got some approvals that
Right.
they needed. So absolutely, we can talk to Lieutenant Colonel.
Perfect.
Right, I think a lot of their first Phase 1 is just more of the demo of existing building and sites, just to prepare the site, so they're at least getting through there. And you can also see the Army Guard is also building a major warehouse on, right there at Weekly, but that all still comes out at 8th Avenue, so there will not be any other entrance onto Weekly Lane.
And we might also want to include Evan in that,
Oh,
only
he's-
because Evan wasn't
Yeah.
originally part of the group that went down, so, yeah.
And in the next Phase 2 and 3, we will go back to shoulder sections, and it pretty much will stay a 2-lane roadway from 8th Avenue out to the town limits. We'll be adding shoulders and doing bigger entrances for the truck entrance areas that we'll be working on larger aprons for them to not be able, cutting the corners on the road. And that was a big issue of them having drop-offs on the side. So we'll be adding shoulders out through there, but it all will keep it in the right-of-way in those future phases.
How many phases do you anticipate?
3. The first one's from Swan to 8th, then 8th to Huntley, and then from Huntley out to the town limit. Rocky Fork, Almaville Road, the overall project will be 3-lane roadway with sidewalks from Almaville Road all the way out to Rocky Fork Road. The current phase, we're in right-of-way acquisition, and Phase 1 is from the Derby Run developments to Morton Lane. The appraisals have been completed. We're in the buying stage now. Look, maybe June, July, possibly, to have that right-of-way acquired, and then we can get it scheduled out to bid. It looks to be a 2-year construction project, so maybe December 27 would be an estimate on completion of this first phase. Cook Lane improvements, this will run all the way from sidewalks just on the current development sides. Otherwise, it will just be 3-lane curb and gutter from Rocky Fork Road to Rock Springs Road. Phase 1 that we're trying to work and concentrate on now is just from the Cooks Lane development up to Lee Road to be able to get that development site entrance in with our roadway, because we have a major vertical and a horizontal curve there that we've got to flatten out, and we have been working with the developer to make sure that our roadway and their site entrance match up. So that should be coming along here in the next few months, and I think the developer and we're looking for December 27th to have that completed. We're also having to do work further from Lee Road all the way out to Rock Springs just to get our functionals done, because CUD is going to have to bring water from Rocky Fork Road all the way up Cooks Lane to the Cooks development there. So that will be their source of water for the project.
How many phases do you anticipate to get to Rock Springs Road?
The next one will be to get to Rock Springs Road. That will be a construction phase once we do the contract tonight that you approved, does the Rock Springs Road, and then you'll have that one little piece of Cooks Lane from the Cooks Lane development down. That will be one construction project. So that will be the next phase to get that in there, to get that intersection updated and putting the left turn lanes on Rock Springs and the left turn lane on Cooks, and taking out that curve right there near the Mabel Farms development, taking that curve out. But our first thing is to just try to get the right-of-way so we can work with the homeowner on that to get that right-of-way for moving that alignment on the curve.
I think you skipped Lee Road, I think.
Well, did I miss that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Explain. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, on Lee Road, this is a 3-lane section roadway with sidewalks. We're only going to put sidewalks on the current development sides. As the developers come in, they will add the sidewalks once they have their entrances. But this will run from Rocky Fork Road to Cooks Lane. Phase 1 design is approximately 1.33 miles, and it's on either side of Montgomery Way. That's part that's currently in the city limits. The next step, once we get that design, is to start our Phase 1 right-of-way. And we're looking possibly by December 28th to have this first section completed. Let's see, okay, we did Cooks. Thank you, Councilman Dempsey, for that. Rock Springs Road improvements, this is the contract you just approved tonight, and this will be the connection between the Mabel Farms. The developer on that one, he will first start from Walden Road to their side entrance with 3-lane section and sidewalk on the one side. After they pass their side entrance, they will taper down to a 2-lane roadway with a sidewalk out to the end of their property. Our project will pick up there with a 2-lane roadway and shoulders out past Cooks Lane and do the right turn on Rock Springs for that project. Here it is. Councilman, here's your project. Okay. All right, Jefferson Pike, Nissan Sam Riley intersection, from the double left turn. This one will add the double left going on to Jefferson, because I know we have a large backup that backs all the way up in the Weekly Lane. Our traffic operations manager, he has worked on the phasing to give that lot extra time to make that turn, but it's still just a large volume of traffic at peak times to make that. So we have got through the project initiation and getting it started, and I received the contract today for the project. So it has been approved to move forward. So that project will be on the March workshop. So we will get that contract underway, and then we can get into our NEPA PE notice to proceed. Then we can bring on our design consultant and get this project started. And this is a,
It'll be finished before we ever start on this stuff for sure.
what?
The right turn lane will be
Oh,
finished.
yes, this one won't be out to 28. We're looking at the year of design, year for right-of-way utilities, and then possibly 9 to 12 months construction time. So that puts us out to about June of 28 on this one. But we do have a 80/20 carbon reduction grant on this for $1 million.
Tom, just ring my bells. Old Nashville Highway still state road?
No.
Okay.
No, Nashville Highway's not a state route.
Okay. That was, I guess, taken away when the town did the
So until we get in there and find out more about the areas of concern as far as right-of-way utilities, we do have the cemetery there up on that one pinch point. So it's going to be a lot of things to work around on this one. But we will be having, once we get functionals and get comfortable with,
But that will be as much as it can be widened.
yes, it's going to be
Tight to
tight.
do that. Okay.
Yes.
Are there not sections of that road that are called Hazelwood?
Hazelwood goes up to about Country Village.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd that it breaks there, that Hazelwood breaks at Country Village and not at Old Nashville Highway.
I think that's because it was commercial up to that point.
It could have been, section was built 3 lanes, so it could have come under that, but
Yeah.
I don't know why
It's interesting.
how that happened. That was,
Let's ask Kevin. We hadn't asked him anything throughout this whole thing.
yes,
Don't be
please
picking
ask.
on Kevin back there.
Proximity to the widening, so this be a difficult project, but we know we do need the additional left turn lanes from Old Nashville onto Rock Springs. So we will work through those. Okay, thank you. And our last one is the gateway signs. So these have been approved by TDOT. We have gone through the excess land. We have the leases signed for the right-of-way. We have a general conception of what the signs look like, working with the Santucci on what that face will look like. Once we get that and the description of what the rock pattern and the metal facing look like, we will be ready to proceed. But otherwise, all permits and licenses with TDOT have been approved. Any other questions? Just a couple other quick updates for TDOT projects. Jefferson Pike widening should be set substantial completion by June of this year. State Route 1, Lowry Street, Sam Ridley, the intersections coming off there, that project is in the March letting by TDOT, and that will put signals at the ramps coming from Lowry Street onto Sam Ridley, and also a traffic signal at Jefferson Pike. But that, like I said, that is in the March letting, and it's still moving. TDOT will be resurfacing Almaville Road, State Route 102, all the way from State Route 96 up to mile marker 6, which is Mercedes Drive. That project's been awarded to Wiregrass Construction, and they have till October of this year to complete it. Sam Ridley, Almaville Road interchanges are still on hold until future development of the choice lanes from TDOT.
Charles, the Almaville Road coming onto the interstate, coming off of Almaville Road.
Yes.
And heading towards 66 Sam Ridley, tremendously bad right there.
Yes.
I mean, it's rutted out so bad, and people trying to merge in. Can you speak to that, or do you know anything about that?
I've spoken to TDOT on numerous occasions, because once you leave Almaville Road and move up onto the ramps, the concrete ramp, or onto 24, that is all TDOT. We do maintain Almaville Road. We will maintain that for just minor maintenance, but that is all TDOT. We've sent it out. They're just waiting for their plants to come back online so they can get out there. They did do some resurfacing up near Sam Ridley on one lane, but it's the new mix. It's that open graded course, and they say once it starts unraveling,
Oh, it's terrible.
it's no stopping it.
Yeah.
So they'll have to mill and
It's
replace
very
it
unsafe.
completely.
People trying to merge into 24 traffic.
Yes.
And they're just bouncing.
Yeah, it's really bad shape, but that we notified them, they're aware of, and they're just waiting for their plants to open back up in April to get in there and have to do a total mill and resurface.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else?
Supposed to be getting some news in April, aren't we, about, about some projects with TDOT?
Yeah, the TDOT 10-year plan will come out in April, and we're expecting that we're probably going to see some of our projects on there, but we'll wait and see.
With our fingers crossed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I've got to update the GNRC MPO projects of, that's 8 o'clock tomorrow morning start, to get
Yep.
those loaded in, get those applications updated, so that will be entered in by tomorrow, because it's a Friday deadline to have all those projects updated. So I have started on it, but we'll get that finished up this week and have those ready to go.
Got a couple of things, Mayor. I see an email come across that the NEPA for the choice lanes had been pushed out somewhat, but
Yes.
it wasn't going to affect their overall schedule.
Timeline.
Yeah, I had
That's
a,
Spring to
correct.
summer.
yeah, I had a meeting today up at the Capitol, and we did meet with Commissioner Ely and the TDOT team up there, and they assured us that they're moving forward, and that's not going to impact the timeline, at least at this point.
And then, Dave, you mentioned that we would discuss new projects at the budget retreat. Yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
I
Okay.
know these are in our packet, but can you email these to us?
Yes, ma'am.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Charles, nice job.
All right, appreciate it.
That was really beneficial.
That's millions and millions of dollars.
Well, that's what I was curious.
road
I was
improvement.
gonna try
appropriate that he
to,
comes next,
did you
so.
total it? Did you total the dollar figure on it?
No, ma'am.
He didn't want to.
Well, I think when you see all of this together and see how many road projects that we have going on across the town, I know sometimes it feels like what's being done about traffic, but I think this shows that we have quite a bit going on.
Right, and in the past 5 years, the amount of road projects that we have been able to move forward on and complete have made a major impact on traffic flow.
Yeah.
And thanks for all the grants that you applied for.
Right, well, like I said, a lot of those, Kevin and Tom had those in line when I came on to
Thank you,
move
Tom.
them forward, so
Thank you,
they
Kevin.
list when I arrived to work on.
Charles, one question. I don't know if it's you or Tom, because Tom's wondering if I'm going to put him on the spot. Can we get an update on ITS?
Yes, that's Tom.
Talking about traffic, and this is something that the town's been working diligently at, make
Yeah.
intelligent traffic signaling work better for the town, so.
So we're in what's called phase 3, 4, and 5, which is really the ITS project. We had a little bit of delays because Middle Tennessee Electric was changing out some wood poles to metal poles along Lee Victory, and that's where we're going to be hanging our fiber. So we'd wait for them to complete those pole installations or replacements before we could hang that fiber on there. But we're probably about 75–80% through that project. What's called burn-in, so everything will be installed, all the fiber, everything in the cabinets will be installed, all the detection, video cameras, and then we'll be able to start burn-in, expecting that to be completed around beginning to mid-June of this year, but should be up and running before then and integrating a total of about 50 of our 55 traffic signals.
I think that'll be a big help, we get those up and running.
It does. To be able to look at it remotely rather than having to drive to
Right.
see if there's a problem.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Item 11 is status reports. Rex?
February state share tax, we received $873,761. This puts us at an increase of 2.43% cumulative change from the prior year. Local sales tax, we received $2,165,424. This puts us at an increase of 4.24% cumulative change from the prior year. So we're not trending up too much, but we're not going backwards either. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
We'd like to hear that from our finance guy.
Well, you asked about the numbers a while ago for Charles. I didn't get a number, but I flinched a little bit.
Any questions for Rex? Thanks, Rex.
Thank you.
Announcements? Okay, I do have one quick question before we move to, I don't know, do you all get the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage newsletter? It came today. Do y'all get that too? If not, I'll forward it to you. So Amber and Jeff, Amber, I saw that you have been turning in our reports, and that they said that was one of the things that they asked. But one of the things they said that is that a clear trend that's emerged is people that sell beer, if they are having their employees do the responsible beer vendor program, that it's really working. And it's about selling beer to minors. Is that something that we can require when we give a beer license? No?
No, it's recommended because it will, if they choose to do it, then if something happens, then even within our ordinance, the fine is less, if at all, and those types of things. So there's a benefit for them for the.
And do we encourage it through the beer board
Permit
when they
holders to
come
do
to
it.
get their license?
I don't know if they do every time now, but I think it's something we should maybe put in the packet when they come.
I think that'd be great.
Receive the packet, that way they can kind of study it and look over it before they come.
Okay. I'll forward you guys that newsletter.
Who puts it on?
Huh? Who puts the
I think the
RV?
Alcohol
I think they
Beverage
do.
Commission.
And
The
so,
state.
I mean, you have to go to them to take the course, or?
That I'm not familiar with. I know that because after COVID, I don't know if they went to any kind of a distance model or not that they added, but used to they did, but since
I mean, it
2020.
looks like the board could strongly recommend that they do that, you know?
Well, it
It's a benefit to them.
It's a benefit to them.
Yeah. Okay. I just, when I read it, I thought that if it was something we could require, it would be nice, but if we can't require it, I think we need to make sure that we're letting them know that it's there. Okay. Directors, department heads, anything? Surprise, surprise.
So I need to announce an emergency purchase for the water treatment plant. The Lagoon Decant Pump Station, we had a VFD failure. There's 2 VFDs installed there for each lagoon. One of them showing signs of failure, so we have ordered 2 VFDs plus 1 spare. This came from Border States, which is a sole supplier, in the amount of $14,526.42. The other thing is the Consumer Confidence Report is out for '24. Kevin Relford and his staff at the water plant did a fantastic job on this. There's a ton of great information here for the community. It's the water quality report that's required by TDEC. So there's all kinds of testing results in there which showed that we didn't have any violations and met or exceeded state standards. We scored a 100 on the sanitary survey, which is very, very rare. Again, last year, it's the second time in the last 3 or 4 years that they've done that. So great job to the staff. They started this month being run on the utility bills to make people aware that they're out there. It's listed on the website. It is also being mailed, it's a TDEC requirement that we mail it to master meter locations. Most of those are apartment complexes, but there's some places like the public shopping center, things like that, strip malls that we have to mail these to. So they should be mailed out this week. So again, great job to Kevin and his staff. If you haven't seen it, go on the website, look at the link on your utility bill, log on. It's fantastic information.
Questions? Amber?
Yes, ma'am, I have a slide tonight. I'm going to touch on the census briefly. We are still at it. We are still actively counting. We still have the firefighters out knocking on doors. We are also giving away weekly gift cards. What we're doing is taking all names each week, and then on a weekly basis, we'll throw in the new names that have responded through that week. And we're doing a random drawing. We drew our first 2 winners last week, and with Casey's detective skills and my detective skills, we were able to find out contact information because we only asked for their first and last name. So we were able to track them down, and both of them were very excited to have won a gift card. I think actually one of them is picking his up tomorrow morning at the fire station, and he has graciously offered to take pictures with the firefighters so we could let the residents know that this is real and that we are giving away giveaways, and there are true winners. So hoping I win one. No, I'm just kidding. I'll go past if I come up in it. But anyways, so if you have not responded yet, throw your name in the hat. You could be like one of our winners from last week and win a $50 gift card weekly.
So the key is to wait till the last minute to register, right?
No, because everybody's still going in each week.
Okay. Thanks, Amber.
Yes.
Dave?
Sure, a few slides. First, I just want to thank all the staff, directors, managers who went over to the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce last week, and we had a great leadership development session. And so here we are at the Chamber of Commerce, and this was part of our ongoing efforts to work on our strategic planning and team building. So it was a lot of fun. Had a great time with that exercise, getting to know our folks on a little bit different level. So just wanted to share that with you all, that we're trying to do some things together there as a team. Next slide, please. Mike already covered this, so this was the annual water quality report. We can move on. Yeah, so on the 18th, we have an open house. If you remember that we had a joint meeting with planning and the council where we had our consultants come in and talk about the safe routes for all, and we also talked about the major thoroughfare plan. So this is an open house event to discuss and help shape the future of our transportation system here in Smyrna. I think it's really important that the public gets the opportunity to come out and participate in that activity. So we'll be doing that at the event center on the 18th of March from 6 to 8 p.m. Come join us if you can, please.
They don't have to stay the whole time, they can just drop in.
Nope, it's not a presentation. This is kind of a very fluid situation. You come in, talk, look, provide feedback, so. And then, of course, the annual Smyrna Event Center Easter Brunch on April 20th, 2025. There are two reservations that you can make, or showings between 11 and 12:30, and then 12:45 to 2:15. I looked at the menu. This is an extremely fancy affair at a very, very reasonable price. So if you are interested in that, adults are just under, I believe that's really small, so I'm going to try my best, just under $30. Children 6 to 12 are about $18, and ages 5 and under are free. So reservations only, and you can see the contact information at the bottom of the slide, but if you're having trouble reading that, I will read it for you. It's call 615-459-4444. I'm sure you can find it on our website too. Thank you.
Jeffrey?
Nothing from me.
Dave? Sorry, Dave. Jerome? Sorry.
Have to start combing my hair like Dave. Yes, have an announcement here, just some information. Dave, Jeff, and myself went down to Nashville on Monday, March 3rd, and attended the Tennessee Municipal League Conference. And we heard a lot of good information. One of the bills that was being addressed, and I think Representative Stevens had brought this up to us, was the bill that could project populations rather than Amber doing a census that they were going to allow. Were you going to announce that, or? Oh, okay. Okay. You had a big smile on your face. Nice. But rather than doing a special census between the 10-year federal census, which are allowed to do 3, then this would take UT Center some population data and project those for the fast-growing cities. So if we could get that bill passed and get away from the special census, not only the effort, the cost, and you just wonder if you're capturing all of the population. So if you haven't signed up for the census, please do. I got to meet with Representative Stevens, Representative Sparks. Got to say hi to my cousin that's worked up there for a long, long time. Ran into Zach Blair, and also ran into a friend of mine, Representative Todd Warner, who's trying to rename the Nashville Airport to Trump Airport.
I agree. I think that bill would be a great bill. I think, Dave, y'all had done it in Florida, and you had brought it up about how nice it was down there.
Yeah, that's just what they did down there. So when I approached Representative Stevens about it, he thought it made a lot of sense too. So we talked a lot about that today at the Mayor's Caucus up there at Nashville, and got to put that in front of a bunch of the representatives. So I know it was, I don't know if it was well received, I just know it was received, so we'll see.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
Raquel?
All right, I think I have a slide here. So reading in the schools, it was Read Across America last week. It used to be Dr. Seuss Day, it was the week. But we had a wonderful time reading at Browns Chapel Elementary School and Cedar Grove Elementary in celebration of Read Across America Week. Mayor Mary Esther Reed, Councilman Jerry Short, Assistant Fire Chief Cameron Phelps, and myself visited the schools and had the opportunity to read to the students. And I wanted to thank Mrs. Roberts and Ms. Harrison for the invitation to read at the library at Cedar Grove Elementary. And special thanks to all faculty and staff, and a big thanks to the students for their enthusiastic participation.
Kim Barlow's the librarian. It was the most organized. I don't know about when y'all went, but I mean, they had it organized, how long you could stay in which class, so it was well done.
So it was a good week.
It was.
And then it was Employee Appreciation Day, 2 days ago? So and Dave did send out an email to thank all the employees, and I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for all the jobs that you do, because you are the face of the town of Smyrna, and we appreciate everything that you do in your jobs to serve citizens. And this is also, do you have Women's History Month on there? Okay. And this is also Women's History Month. So take a moment and think a woman that's in your life, and tell her that you appreciate her. And that's all I have.
I have a slide. It's about Archie's Promise Collection Site. The Smyrna Town Hall, the Smyrna Justice Center, and the Smyrna Outdoor Adventure Center will serve as collection sites for items for Archie's Promise. For several years, Archie's Promise has partnered with Rutherford County Schools to provide personal hygiene vending machines and supplies for students. Most of the vending machines contain travel-sized toiletries that are offered free to Rutherford County students. Currently, there are 8 vending machines located throughout Rutherford County, including one at Smyrna Middle School. Schools are selected for this program based on requests from principals, and the machines are placed in discrete areas within the administrative offices to ensure student privacy. To learn more, you can go to www.rcsschools.net. Alrighty. Condolences to Amber. I know she lost her grandfather, and we all have to go through that at some point or another, and that's a tough way to go. My family, my granddaughter's birthday was Thursday. My son-in-law, her daddy's birthday was Friday. And Fenton's birthday, my grandson, will be this Thursday. So they have a whole week of festivities, so they have a grand time. My poor daughter's the only one that doesn't have a birthday, but we do it in June. My son, my daughter, and myself are all in June.
That's what he meant. She
What
does
the-
have a birthday, it's just not in March.
Y'all getting a little technical, aren't you?
Words mean.
She didn't have a birthday this week. all
That's
right?
right, okay,
All
there we
right. You know, we talk about it being Employees Day, and you know, we do appreciate our employees. And, you know, of course, tonight, during the council meeting, we passed an item which will, you know, increase the pay of most of our employees. And, you know, I really believe in my heart that most of the employees are not so much interested in that money, although they'll take it for sure, just like we all would, but that they enjoy their jobs, because I believe that the town of Smyrna is a great place to work.
We need to talk.
Oh, you're driven by money, is that what you're saying?
I'd say a lot of people with the prices that we're seeing these days are.
Yes, sir.
So that should help.
You know, and something else we gotta talk about, and, you know, Rex talked about the cost of the revenue which our sales tax brought in tonight. You know, you see these 68% stickers on cars around town, and what this basically says that when you spend with a local merchant in Smyrna, 68% of that money stays into the town, either through the owner reinvested it in the community, or the employees there spending it within the community. And, you know, the number's not as great if you just buy inside the city limits, you know, not necessarily from an independent merchant, but when you leave town, your money leaves town when you buy from outside of the city limits. You know, we were talking about what the revenue, what the cost is going to be for all these road projects and such as that. I mean, it's got to be paid for somehow, and the majority of our budget does come from local purchases. Now, Mary Esther, be kind, and don't litter. Love where you live. Thank you, ma'am.
We had a pretty big area that a citizen had reported, and Dave got staff out there and got it taken care of, so we appreciate that. Jerry?
Yeah, I just wanted to say on behalf of the Smyrna Sister City Exchange Program that a big thank you to everybody that contributed to the success of the Chili Supper and Silent Auction on March the 1st. Whether you purchased a ticket, sponsored the event, bid on the silent auction items, or made a donation, your support truly made an impact. We want to thank you. Also, a big shout out to the hardworking students, their families, our committee, Casey and Lisa, who keeps us straight, and just a few more months are going to be headed to Japan. So I don't know if you got to come out or not, but it was a huge, huge success. We normally make $6,000–7,000 on this the Chili Supper, and we're going to come in somewhere over $18,000. So it was a huge success, and we couldn't have done it without the support of all these people, you, those that are watching on TV, council members, and we just we can't say thank you enough. We really do appreciate it, and I know the kids are looking forward to heading to Japan here in several months, and the chaperones are going to be going with them, and they always have a great time. That group came here last year, and they kind of bonded last year, so now they're going to go back and get to see the ones that they was able to make friends with last year. So thank you very much. And I do have a granddaughter that also having a birthday on the 15th of this month. So happy birthday to Sophie. So that's all I got.
Steve?
All right, I have a slide tonight. I actually shared an article on Facebook this week announcing this, that the 2025 performer lineup for the Great Tennessee Air Show has been announced. It's coming up a lot faster than you realize. June 7th and 8th is not very far off. So you can visit greattennesseeairshow.com for more info and to purchase tickets. That's June 7th and 8th here in Smyrna. And it will be presented by the Air Show Network. So I'm looking forward to that. The Blues are in the lineup again, and they're always fun to watch. The only other item I have for tonight is my mother will be celebrating a birthday on March 19th. We don't meet again before then, so just want to say happy birthday to my mother, and if any of you see her out around town, wish her a happy birthday, March 19th. That's it.
Mark?
There'll be a slide popping up here. Congratulations to a friend of all of ours and a 42-year service member of our police department, Lieutenant Earl Barnes. If you've been in this town any length of time at all, Earl's been around a long, long time. We all went to school together. So congratulations, Earl. Chief, you had a nice event the other day to send him off, and several of us were able to get by there and give our best wishes. But we want to say thank you to Earl, and thank you to our police department as well.
He's also known as Gun Show Security. I don't know if you know that or
I'm
not.
not, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he is almost always the security officer at the gun show at the Lebanon Flea Market, at the Lebanon Fairgrounds.
We did mention the pay increases when I spoke to the group down there and told them it was going to be a retroactive pay increase. And I saw a lot of smiles. So I think most of our employees are very grateful that this, Jerome brought up that there's a cost of living going up. But if we didn't do anything, it'd be even worse. So we're trying to make sure we're getting our employees compensated for the work they do. We want to say thank you to them for that. Amber, I told you before the meeting, condolences to your family, loss to your grandfather. Talking about, Amber talked about the census, and one of the things we always try to do is make sure everybody gets counted for a reason. I don't know the last time Smyrna even had a property tax increase. I think it was 14, maybe 15 years ago. And then I listened to all this money being spent for roads without a tax increase. That's good governance, and that's our people back there doing their jobs. That's all of our staff and Rex with the money, watching it like a hawk, and you heard everybody get up and talk about the improvements that we've got coming and doing. There's still many more. But to be able to do that and not have to go to our citizens, that census matters. We get $175 per person that goes into our coffers to spend on improvements in town. So if you haven't been counted, fear not. That information's going nowhere but here. And we want to make sure we can get every dollar we can so that our citizens don't have to foot these big bills you saw the presentation about tonight. So keep that in mind. Miss Appleton's in the crowd, and she's already come up here and hustled all of us for money. And so, Miss Appleton, I'm joking, of course, but she is raising money. Here's my point. She's raising money for YMCA Youth Development. I think she won last year as the top raiser. Am I right, Miss Appleton? 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. So if you see her out, hand her some money because she's going to ask you anyway, right? All kidding aside, she does a wonderful job helping out the YMCA. So if you know Miss Appleton or see her, you can always catch her here. She's always here for council meetings, and you could bring money, and she will love you for that. So.
If not, she always has me collect for her as a town representative, and I'll turn it in to her. So
Absolutely.
you can give it to me, and I will pass it along to Miss Appleton.
Absolutely. Charles, thank you for all the work you did on giving us the information tonight regarding road improvements. I think a lot of people, many people don't watch council meetings. But social media is a great place to put that, I think. Social media is not always friendly to us, but this is one of the things I think that would be wonderful to try to get some news out about things going on in Smyrna, improvements coming. I think the citizens would love to hear about it. That's all I have.
Great. Amber, sorry about your peepaw. No, you had.
this afternoon, so.
Sorry.
Yes. 94 years old. He would have
He
been
had a good life.
95 next month. Yes.
So, I have two birthdays. Before we meet again, Parker is 28 today, so happy birthday to Parker. And Britt will be 55 on Saturday, so happy birthday to Britt. So, anything else? Nothing else, then we're adjourned. Oh, I did. So even though we're adjourned, I'll do them real quick. The the Fire and Police Department annual Easter egg hunt. Join us on April 19th at 1 o'clock. And our Jeff Coos Scholarship Program, last day to apply is March 14th. And we've had some really great applicants, but we could use some more. So you still have time to get it in by Friday. Okay, thanks you guys.